Breaking news here into CBS Sports HQ. A bit of a stunner, bit of a shocker. Carolina Panthers linebacker Luke Kuechly retiring from the National Football League after 8 seasons. Certainly someone who has been an enormous bright spot of the league. Certainly for the Panthers for the last 8 seasons. And he took to Twitter on the Carolina Panthers official Twitter account. By the way, Joe Musso, Steve Gelbs here, took to the official Panthers Twitter account to explain his decision. We don't want to step on that. It's a serious, a thoughtful video, and we just want to play it for you first here in full.
I've been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to play this game since I was in 4th grade, and I've been with the Panthers now for 8 years, and it's never the right time to step away, but now is the right time for me, and it's a tough decision. I've thought about it a lot, and I think now is the right chance for me to move on. And it makes me sad because I love playing this game. I've played it since I was a little kid, and it's my favorite thing in the world to do. And the memories I have from this place and this organization and playing on the field with these guys, they'll never go away. And I'm sitting right now in the linebacker room, and the amount of memories I've had from this room alone could fill a book. And these are the best times of playing. Obviously on the field is awesome, but some of the best times of playing this game are behind the scenes in the locker rooms, in these meeting rooms, on the buses, traveling the games. You can't replicate that anywhere else, and that's why this is so hard to do, to move on in a different direction. But in my heart, I know it's the right thing to do, and it's hard, but that's why you play this game, to form relationships, and if you form strong relationships, they never go away. It's hard, but I hope to, still be involved in some way. And the biggest thing at this point now is to thank the people that have helped me get me there, from the coaches and the players to Coach Rivera to Marty to Mr. Richardson for bringing me in, and now Mr. Tepper now. This decision has nothing to do with new coaches and Coach Rule. He's going to do a fantastic job. His track record's proven, but for me now is the right opportunity to move in a different direction. And there's only one way to play this game since I was a little kid, is to play fast and play physical and play strong. And at this point, I don't know if I'm able to do that anymore. And that's the part that is the most difficult. I still want to play, but I don't think it's the right decision. So thought about it for a long time, and I think now is an opportunity for me to step away with what's going on here. I think we've got a really good linebacker room. I think Shaq and those guys are going to step and do a tremendous job. I just want to say thank you to the coaches, the players, the support staff, the training staff. Everybody involved with this organization has been the best from top to bottom since the day I got here. The fans have been fantastic. They've supported us. They've traveled. When we've been good, they've been great. When we haven't been great, they've been equally as good and very supportive. And that's the best thing about this city and this town is people love the team and people love the players. And that goes a long way, because when you love the players for who they are, I think it transcends the game, and that's what's important. And most of all, I'd like to thank my family, Mom and my dad, Eileen and Tom Kuechly, my 2 brothers, John and Henry, and my girlfriend, Shannon. They've been with me since the beginning. They've been very supportive, and I'm happy to share this journey with them. So thank you, Panther fans. Thank you, everybody in the NFL, for your constant support. And now it's time to move in a different direction.
So there it is, a thoughtful statement from the dominant linebacker that he is and was. Here's a look at some notable injuries throughout Kuechly's storied career. Obviously, to have the impact that he had on field through all of these injuries, numerous concussions, a torn labrum, the scary scene in 2016 with cutaways of his bewildered face after suffering the most gruesome of those concussions. You can read that board for yourself, but I'd like to offer you some statistics. 7-time Pro Bowler, 5-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time Butkus Award winner, the Defensive Rookie of the Year, and 1,000-plus tackles in just 8 seasons of play. a great man on and off the field, moving on from his playing days to what life holds beyond. With that, we welcome in Ryan Wilson, our draft expert, to give some thoughts and lend some context here to the news of Luke Kuechly announcing his retirement after 8 years in the NFL. Ryan, this one catches us, I guess, timing-wise, a little bit off guard, but this is a young man who's dealt with his injuries to his head, a brilliant young man who is putting, it seems like, his health before his career, someone who deserves a gold jacket in all estimations in just 8 years of play.
No, that's right, Joe. 28 years old, and we've seen sort of in recent years players decide to retire early, and it comes as a shock because you see Luke Kuechly, and he looks to be full of vitality, and he's obviously very strong and plays the game at an extremely high level, so high, in fact, that if you look at Pro Football Focus's numbers, he was one of the highest ranked inside linebackers this season. And now, less than a month from the end of his season, he's decided to walk away from the game. He was the 9th overall pick in 2012, and part of those new wave linebackers, 6'3", 235-ish, who came in and could not only play stout against the run, but were incredibly fast and dropping into coverage, making plays in the secondary. He had 18 career interceptions in those 8 seasons you talked about, and an absolute game changer. We see a lot of times guys get drafted top 10, 2 or 3 years down the road, we're wondering why they were drafted there. Never any questions about Kuechly, who not only was an amazing player on the field, but as he sort of alluded to, he was part of a group, and he was the leader of that group. Fantastic teammate, a big part of why they were successful during that 2015 season that took them to the Super Bowl with that 15-1 record. But you talked about it, the 3 concussions from 2015 to 2017, and you wonder if that now, looking back, is what Kuechly's thinking about and thinking ahead to his future in terms of what it means to be able to have kids and to have grandkids and be around for that and to be mobile and be able to do the things that you want to do 20, 30 years from now. And you could tell by the emotion in his voice that this was an incredibly difficult decision, because at 28, rarely do any of us in their dream jobs decide to hang it up. But that's the life of a football player. And Luke Kuechly now becomes the latest great player to leave the game early because of injury concerns.
Yeah, and that was actually going to be my next question. This is not the first time we've seen this recently. I mean, you just look to Andrew Luck at the beginning, right before this season. Do you feel like as time goes on here, this trend will continue where players will really start to look long and hard about the potential long-term ramifications of continuing to play this game at this level?
I think so, and I think what's also worth considering is that Andrew Luck and Luke Kuechly as well were well within after their second contract, so they had made the money that they had hoped to make. And sometimes players don't have that choice. Sometimes players have to play through injuries because they have concerns bigger than their own, whether it's family or friends or whatever. And I think that does play a part in it. But more importantly than that, I think the research and the advancements in CTE research and head injury research has gotten people's attention. Don't forget, 2 or 3 years ago, Chris Borland retired after a fantastic rookie season with the 49ers because he was concerned about the long-term effects of head injuries. And we're starting to see more and more of that. Maybe not as much as we might have expected after Borland retired and spoke passionately about it. But Andrew Luck gets your attention. That wasn't a head injury. That was a shoulder injury and other injuries where he felt like he couldn't do what he wanted to do. Kuechly didn't specify exactly why he's retiring, but he said, I feel like I can't do what I want to do on the field. And that makes it clear that the injuries have taken the toll. And he also understands the long-term ramifications, whatever those injuries may be. And I think players have, for as long as the game's been played, have played through injuries. And now that they know more about it and know more about the long-term effects, they are taking account as to whether it's worth it, especially if they're in a position financially to be able to walk away from the game. And like I said, not every player has that advantage, but certainly Luke Kuechly did. And I feel like if he thinks he's doing the right thing, then I'm 100% behind him. And I would imagine Panthers fans feel the same way.
Yeah, he gets nothing but applause from me. Ryan, you are our draft expert, and Kuechly leaves a hole that cannot be filled by one single pick or by one player moving into a slot. But after the departure of Thomas Davis and now Luke Kuechly, that linebacker core seems to be just Shaq Thompson, who signed that contract earlier this season, that extension. What does this mean for the Carolina Panthers moving forward in their defensive unit?
A lot of new faces, Joe, because we know Matt Rule's there. We know Joe Brady has just been hired to be the offensive coordinator after that fantastic season with LSU. And now more holes to fill on the defense. You mentioned Thomas Davis leaving. Luke Kuechly's obviously no longer there. Shaq Thompson was the second best linebacker on this group, according to PFF stats. But after that, we're looking at Andre Smith, who played 263 snaps. So he's going to have to step up. And the good news, if you want to call it that, we still have free agency to go through. They can obviously make some waves there. They also have the draft. They have a top 10 pick. And if they want to target someone there, they certainly can. There's not an inside linebacker worth the top 10 pick unless you consider Isaiah Simmons from Clemson, an inside linebacker. He plays virtually everywhere, so you can call him that if you want. Dylan Moses, who returned to Alabama, would have been a nice selection possibly there, but now he's going back to school, so that leaves a void if you're looking solely towards the draft as the Panthers, especially in the first round, to try to fill Luke Kuechly's shoes, and that clearly is not going to be done by one person. A name to look at later in the draft is Kenneth Murray, who could be a late first-round, early second-round pick out of Oklahoma. Had a great season. He's in the Luke Kuechly mold in that he's a smallish linebacker, but he is not Luke Kuechly, and in fact, you can name anyone in this draft class. They are not going to be Luke Kuechly, and those are going to be incredibly difficult shoes to fill. And it's going to have to be a linebackers group by committee to get anywhere close to filling the shoes that Luke Kuechly did for those 8 years in Carolina, where he played at such a high level. And I'm with you. I think he's a Hall of Famer, no questions asked.
Such a high level indeed. 7-time Pro Bowler once again. Luke Kuechly, the breaking news, somewhat stunningly retiring after just 8 seasons in the NFL at just 28 years old. Ryan Wilson, thank you so much for the insight. When we come back, we continue with this breaking news coverage. Jonathan Jones has covered Luke Kuechly throughout his entire career. He will join us for more perspective when we return.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.